We are back again at Retox Retreat and are joined by some awesome operators in the e-com space that have some exciting news, it seems, having recently launched a new venture. So excited to hear about that. I'm also excited to hear a little bit more about each of you, and for those of us that might be watching that don't already know, Jess, Laura, would you mind introducing yourselves, telling us a little bit about your background and what brings you here today?
Yeah, for sure. You want to go?
Yeah, no, you go.
All right, so I'm Laura Mena. Like we've mentioned before, Jess and I are co-founders of Open Late Collective, so our new agency to help consumer goods, D2C, e-commerce brands on better understanding their customer, leveraging data, and everything that we both learned as early founding employees of Mr. Beast's candy company, Feastables.
Awesome.
And I am Jess Cervellon. And yeah, so as Laura said, we were OG employees of Feastables. I was employee 4 of Feastables, so like was a part of that team before it even went on the market. So like watched that company go from like D2C to retail to international and like really grow it, and it's insane. But, you know, since I've left that, now have become co-founders of Open Late Collective, our agency, also host of the Juice with Jess podcast, a podcast about CX and marketing, because I'm a content queen.
Avid listener.
Yep.
Avid listener.
There you go.
Love that. So tell me a little bit about the origin story. Like how did you guys, I mean, obviously you have relationship, having, you know, done a tour of duty together at
Yeah,
Feastables,
tour of duty,
but
that's a good way to
like
put it.
how did this come to be,
Yeah.
and how do your, you know, unique skills and experience areas fit in and juxtapose with your unique skills and ability to serve, and what's your ideal client profile looking like? I mean, I've got a lot of questions, but we'll start with those two.
We go back 2 years ago and nearly to the date, probably.
I know. So, I mean, what's really interesting is like Feastables, you know, I mentioned, right? Like I was a part of it before it launched on D2C, then I went into retail, and then I went international. But like that company really became 90% retail and 10% D2C, and like doesn't actually have any e-com at this moment, right?
Yeah, but the early days, that was the foundation of the business.
Right. And like, that's the fun part. Startups, I'm a startup junkie. Feastables was my 5th startup. Like, so I like loved that moment, right? Of like a startup. And I decided while I was still working at Feastables, I wanted to help other CPG brands, other D2C brands, like with retention, lifecycle growth, as well as like CX. So I actually started doing consulting on the side before 9 a.m., after 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, hence why our company is called Open Late, because it was actually a joke. But I was doing that. I was doing that for like a year before I actually decided to like go completely out on my own. And so back earlier this year, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to go completely out on my own and like do my own jam. And I started Open Late Collective. I was like putting, you know, all the things together. And then Laura calls me up, honestly, a month ago, and was like, hey, I really love what you're doing, and we have always vibed like at Feastables. Like, I mean, Laura's first day at Feastables was literally like, she walked into the office and she was like, hey, I'm Laura. I'm here to do like data and insights. And I was like, tight, sit down. How are you going to help me understand the customer experience so we can market to them better?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and you'll tell more about that, but like, that's when we've entered the picture
it's
together.
a full circle moment starting the agency, and for me, my background pre-Feastables was on the retail analytics side. So D2C e-commerce was a brand new universe to me, and I'm like, wow, the power of first-party data and being able to speak directly to your customers, that's something that a lot of big consumer goods brands that are in retail don't get the opportunity to do. So day one, when Jess was like, teach me about the customer, I'm like, gladly, because I'm excited to be able to have this audience to engage and to survey and to, you know, build out voice of the customer dashboards and really understand what's going on under the hood. So when she started scaling the agency, it just made sense for me to come in and help lay those foundational pieces that we first connected over.
Yeah. And I mean, the core of like Open Late, like it originally started as like a marketing and CX agency, but then now it is formed into this like customer obsession, but really data focused. So we help brands be less gut reaction and actually put data and understanding about what it is that your customer wants, so we can get you to the right messaging, we can get you to the right product market fit. So there's a variety of different things that we can do, but like really we're at the core of everything that we do, it's brand strategy, consumer insights, that then goes into like the how you're gonna market and the how you're gonna deliver a customer experience.
Yeah, I see Jess and I as like, I'm the why, the brand strategy, the insights, and Jess is the how. Like, how do you actually take those learnings about how the brand should be messaging and showing up for the consumer and actually build a retention and loyalty program?
What are the biggest challenges that the ideal client that is seeking you out is wrestling with?
Yeah, I'd say.
I think it's a two-parter. So like
Yeah, I'd say first, they're making a lot of assumptions on who their customer is and what they care about. So they're finding challenges when it comes to marketing and retention and actually, building that connection and that relationship with the customer, because they've been operating a lot on assumptions. So they want to go deep into understanding what motivates, what drives their consumer, and where they can start to fill the gap and better message, whether that be rebranding packaging, setting up new loyalty programs, really anything, like the end-to-end experience. We can help them fill the gap in the understanding on who the customer is, what they care about, and then how you should strategize around that.
Right, and so I think that's the first pillar, and then also the second pillar that we also deliver on is the how, right? So like maybe you've already figured that piece out, but then you don't know how to actually bring it across the line. So maybe you need retention, life cycle, and growth, like all of them, one of them, then we can help with like that how and strategizing and delivering, really good loyalty programs, or if you need email strategy, whatever it is, a part of that entire marketing funnel. And then the other how is the customer experience. We do the customer experience things. I mean, I think that's the one thing about Feastables, working at Feastables, is Feastables was a very like digitally native company. It was very focused on the customer experience and the community building. And so Laura and myself, and then we also have one other individual that also worked with me at CX, Danny, the three of us will like work on that service of that portion of the business too, of like, how do you deliver a dope customer experience? How do you build community? So it's actually it's not two areas, it's really three areas. It's the why, the how. No, I'm sorry.
The why.
Sorry. Okay. It's actually three areas. The why, it's the how, but the how, it can be broken up into two aspects: the marketing funnel aspect or the customer experience aspect.
I see. You had mentioned your customers, a merchant, making some potentially false assumptions about their customers, and as an extension of that, maybe making some strategic decisions that aren't maybe the best ones to be making. How does that look? Like, give me an example of conceptually, what are some common places where what we think we're seeing isn't really correct, and there's more than meets the eye if you look deeper? Yeah,
so we actually have a client that we're working with right now who's a wellness brand. They have a really unique portfolio of offerings, but there's an ingredient claim that they're making that's really central to everything that they do. But around that, there's a lot of noise. They're probably making maybe a dozen health claims around their core product offering that drives north of 80% of their revenue, and they don't really know what's resonating within that. So it's creating a lot of marketing noise, a lot of clutter. They want to go through a rebrand and a repositioning, but they don't really know how. What message should they lead with? What resonates? Why do people care about this product? So really going under the hood and doing some like deep customer segmentation and quantitative analysis work, and surveying customers, understanding what drives and motivates them, so they can better, enhance their site experience, change their packaging so it's clear and the message is right in front of the consumer, and really eliminate some of the marketing noise. So that's one example of an immediate outcome that can come by doing this segmentation work and this deep analysis, is just better strengthening the brand essence and position. Yeah, and then I think on the second end, because I'm the marketing and like digital experience girl, right? We have another client who is currently going through a phase in their business where they're creator led, and they've always done their marketing campaigns based on that creator, but they are now at a point in their business where they're trying to like stand the brand up outside of the creator and become like, a household name, a lifestyle brand, right? And so, not only just taking like the data and like that perspective, but also the brand strategy perspective to then inform the marketing plans, not just on email, but SMS,
is an application something good to like, because they work off of like a drop model of like, so is something like a tap cart, right? Like good for them. It's like, so the challenge with that brand right now is like going through the restructuring of their brand strategy to then inform that marketing plan. And it's just really interesting though, because it's like every brand has this challenge, but in different aspects, and that's where we come in.
Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely. And I think even like another example that we can like candidly talk about the brand
Yeah.
is with Feastables. So I mean, like from like a brand strategic lens, like with Feastables, I mean, people can see it online. We just went through a massive rebrand where the product offering got changed, new formula, the overall pack positioning, everything. And a lot of that was driven by kind of the same idea of better understanding who the customer is, what they care about, that really propelled and reshaped that entire brand strategy. So taking those learnings that we built from Feastables and helping other brands do the same.
Yeah.
How do you guys stay motivated? I mean, it sounds like a lot to fit into the day. We're hanging out
open
here.
late. Come on.
Yeah, we're
Taking the red eye back tonight to Chicago. So,
One day, one event, go home.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, gluttons for punishment, apparently. Did you also red eye over here from Chicago last night?
No,
And-
we actually came in this morning and we're red-eyeing back tonight. So we were probably in this zip code for 12 hours.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
good.
mean, the thing is like when you're a founder, whether it's a founder of a brand, an agency, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're passionate about it, you gotta grind. And I know that like people don't love to talk about hustle culture, but if you're going out there and you're building something and you wanna help other people, like that's our ethos, we wanna help other brands, we have to be out there. We have to do the things, and like we're gonna work and we're gonna do the things, but the like we called open late because of jokingly open late, but really brand building never sleeps.
Yeah.
That's our true
that's the
ethos,
headline,
right?
yeah.
And so it's like you'll see us out here and you'll see us there and we're doing these things, but like that's that's marketing for us, of course, but really you work with us because we know that brand building doesn't sleep, and that's why we are a good agency to work with, because we're
Yeah.
gonna get the shit done.
Yeah, and we also know
stuff
because we've
done.
done it. I mean, I think with Jess and I both, there's almost like hesitation on saying the word agency because really we were operators. That's
Right.
what we did. We were early employees of Feastables when we were standing this thing up, creator economy, starting a consumer brand with a huge YouTuber. That was uncharted territory really, and it was a small WeWork office with 4 of us trying to figure out how do we really manage this landscape. And so we see ourselves as people that just care about building brands, and we see ourselves as extensions of our clients' teams as operators. So I think it's easy for us to stay motivated because we like building brands and helping people, build products that change consumers' lives.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. How can people that have products that change people's lives, that
Yeah.
need that type of support, get in touch with you all?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Laura's dad because he designed our website.
Yeah,
so openlatecollective.com is our website, but also Laura and I are really active on LinkedIn and just in the space. So feel free to find us on LinkedIn, Laura Mena or Jess Cervellon, and again, openlatecollective.com.
Amazing, amazing. Well, congrats on this new chapter in your journeys. Really excited to, be a fan from a short distance and hopefully collaborate
Thanks, Doug.
and
Yeah.
do a lot more things like this in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe on that one brand that I was just talking about the challenge.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Talk offline on all
I
that.
know. All right,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.